Well, here goes. I suppose 2015 was a bit of a coupon buster for a lot of people that might have been trying to predict the league champions, because we saw 3 new league winners in the A team, the B team, and the Works League. There was a good spread of trophies both in the junior and the juvenile age groups as well.
Yeah, so give us a run through what was the champions this year at different levels.
Well, Lerwick Celtic were the winners in the A League, and Thistle won the B League, with Banks capping off a tremendous season in the Works League with the title there.
Yeah, and I mean, that's apparently the first time. Well, Thistlebee's never won the B League before, have you?
No, that's right. Thistle's had a couple of cup triumphs in the at B level, but this was their first season winning the B League, yeah.
I think for the Banks it's even more historic. So although they shared the league championship in 1992, my Banks mole Stan Semple could share with me today that they did win the championship even further back. And that was when it was kind of the Viking League, and that was when they won it in 1981. So big celebrations for the Banks this year. Yeah, now it's time to hear about the real fit bars. This is where the top quality, the real athletes play. We're going to head on now to an interview that I recently did with Adam Dole, who is the Works League president.
Yeah, it's been a bit of a different season. There's been a few new teams trying to challenging for the title. The last probably few years it's been the same 4 teams challenging for all the trophies. So you've had kind of Roll Tigers winning a few league titles, Service is winning a few, and Barat and Chernobyl has usually been the teams that's been pushing them in the league and usually winning all the top competitions, whereas this year you got a much improved Shetland Works team that's come for 5th last year to win the league undefeated this year.
Yeah, undefeated. I mean, that must be quite an achievement. I can't mind. Has that happened before?
Jeremy Duncan was telling me that they won a shared league title with Mean Machine in, I think it was 1992. So it's been a long time for them, and it's kind of good to see. Just they've been a team that's probably been at the bottom end of the league for a number of years, and that's the teams that sometimes struggles to kind of stay afloat and get players, but they've persevered, and the last year they improved a lot, and then this year they've tried to reap the rewards.
Yeah, I would agree with that, because the Banks, like, I've played 5 seasons in the Works League, and probably for most of that season, the Banks have struggled and have maybe taken a few big doings over the years, but this season they've been lashing that body, really.
Yeah, when they bet ways quite early on in the season, then Jeremy Duncan told me after that it was been 15 years, almost to the day, since they last bet was. So right. So I suppose they were due. Knew they've done it 3 times, 3 times for that. So it's maybe, hopefully it'll now go 15 years either way. But
yeah, I mean, I think, well, Banks said Sean Ogilvie was, what, did he finish up top scorer?
No, actually, I think it was the Services duo, John Hutchison. He got 37 goals for the season, and Justin Watson was 2 ahead of him with 35, and Sean was 3rd place with 30. So.
Yeah, that 3 guys have been, especially for Services, I mean, it's hard to believe that they've scored 70-odd goals between them, and they've no won the league, but that just shows you, Banks had quite a lot of guys that were chipping in, but Sean, again, kind of big season for him. He's really made a huge difference to them.
Yeah, I mean, you kind of have to think that Services is quite unlucky, just for the 2nd season in a row they've taken it to the last weekend of a league, and they've lost to a team that's been unbeaten. So that's kind of a bit of a hard luck story, but you kind of feel too sorry for them. Just they've won their 2 top competitions this year. The DITT Cup, they bet Rebels, who were in their first cup final, and then
I don't think we need to mention the Chernobyl result.
Yeah, and then they bet some other team in the either Injury Shetland Association Cup. So.
And after park, how will's things going with the association?
Yeah, I think it's going well. The AGM will be next month, and I think we have all the positions in the committee filled for an upcoming year, unless there's any major surprises. Although I think we're going to try and get more folk involved in the committee, so it's not just the office bearers that's kind of doing everything.
Yeah, and do you think there'll be any more teams coming in? Because this year we had the addition of Bressa, which was good.
Not that I've heard, but I mean, we'd probably need to have a look at all the top competitions in the league and everything like that. Just obviously the main factor in that is just there enough referees to referee all the matches. Like pitches, you'll always find a pitch right now, but well, maybe not this year. But it's referees. It's probably the factor.
Off the park's going good, but yeah, referees, that's a really good point. I mean, I think that's something that ad associations are going to think about. I mean, we're doing to 17 or 18 referees this year, 1 or 2 maybe stepping down. I think other clubs and associations are going to get their thinking caps on over the winter and get some more new recruits. Do you see some guys going forward for your end things?
Yeah, I think they had in 1 day training session for refs, and there was a few Works League teams that Pat fought forward, so you'd be hoping that a lot of them do the further training so that they can be qualified refs. But it is probably something that I think every year they've been told referees is an issue, and I think folks thought there'll always be referees, but I think they're starting to realise now that it is getting towards a crisis point and there might be a reduction in football because there's no referees. So I think that's maybe shooting some thought into life, and hopefully we'll get a few more this year.
Yeah, I mean, hopefully that's something that you can maybe discuss at your AGM. I think certainly the Football Association who do the same, and the juniors, and I think collectively, like maybe going up through the football partnership, I think Aberdy will need to kind of get involved here, especially guys that are maybe just out of playing or maybe looking to have a year or two. It's a really good thing to do to get something back into the game.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, you look at, that was pointed out into the average age of the refs that are doing the job, and it is heading towards a crisis point. And if we can, I think there's a lot of the players think, well, I can't referee because I'm still playing, and then when they stop playing, they think, well, I'm going to have a few years off, and then that few years off turns into 10, 20 years off, and they never get back into it. So I think that's the ones maybe to target. It's the ones that is coming to the end of their career, or has just finished playing football and wants to keep fit and keep involved in the game.
Good. And for yourself, next season, are you going to?
Yeah, I'd hope so. I'd maybe try and pull on my boots for maybe one more last hurrah, but we'll see. We'll see how it goes.
Long time with that. Listen, thanks very much, Adam. All the best.
Okay, cheers.